I had another one. I was watching a preacher a couple months ago on the television, and I'd never heard of this. He said that Cain was that Satan was the father of Cain, and Abel was Adam's son. Have you ever heard of that one?
Well, I mean, in like a theological sense, at one point Jesus calls the Pharisees sons of the devil.
Right.
But that's, a theological, figurative kind of statement. I mean, if this guy was trying to say that, the devil literally fathered, Cain.
I think it was because my daughter and I was talking about it. She heard the same thing. She must have been watching the same show or something.
No, I'm pretty sure the Bible's pretty explicit that Cain and Abel were both,
Brothers.
Adam and Eve.
Yeah, I mean, Satan, father of murderers, a murderer from the beginning, and the father of lies, like he said, Jesus applies that and can theologically judge people.
Right here in chapter 4, verse 1. Now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain. Right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the oldest. I mean, right there, right off the bat, straight after Genesis 3 is done.
I'm going to be mean, okay? Ready? Mark just used a biblical phrase that you may not be aware of. He used the word knew, okay? That biblical word means they had
Nudge,
sex,
wink.
okay? That's what that means, okay? I just want to throw that out there as being the harsh person at the table, okay? Which I have been told that I can't control my tongue on this matter.
We rely on you for this.
You're relying on me to make sure I say that. And that's what that term means. There's another thing that you brought up with that little Cain and Satan. Remember when Peter's having an argument with Jesus? Jesus says, "Get behind me, Satan." Was Peter Satan? But his mind was being used at that point, and that he had the wrong belief. Yeah. And he's like, "No, that's wrong. Get behind me, Satan." Was he calling him Satan? Was he Satan? No, the ideology was. And that's where we have to be wise with Scripture on that. Yeah.
Well, and one thing to be careful with, I mean, I know that specific passage doesn't mention Satan, but the word Satan literally just means enemy. There's all kinds of places in the Bible where as you're reading and you read enemy, that if you had the Hebrew sitting before you, it just means, I mean, it would say Satan.
Yeah.
And so there's places where it's used as a name referring to a specific enemy, and there's times where it just refers to the enemy. So like, talking, to Peter, Jesus probably said, "Hey, get behind me, enemy, because you're being an enemy to what I'm doing." And so kind of need to be kind of careful.
See, I always thought Jesus was speaking to the spirit behind Peter.
Just not even talking to Peter, just
No, I mean the
talking
spirit
straight
behind
through
it, like he was rebuking him. But what do I know?
Yeah.
Are you saying Satan photobombed the moment?
Yes.
Yeah, on a selfie moment?
Hey, bring it to
Here's
the 21st
Peter
century.
and Satan's right back here.
Yeah, it's a Facebook photo.
Okay, it's a Facebook post. There you go. All right. I like that.
It's sort of like Lucifer just means son of light, and in some of the prophecies, Jesus is referred to as Lucifer, but it doesn't mean the evil one. It means now in our language, I would never get up in the pulpit and be like, Jesus is Lucifer, because we would be like, what are you saying? But like if you look at the Latin from the Hebrew, if you look at the Vulgate, when it's translated in when it talks about the son of light, and it's not meaning the evil one, it will use the term Lucifer. But that was just their language. I mean, but you got to be careful with that stuff because it really throws people off. I would never say that Cain was the son of Satan. I would never use that phrase.
If you remember the special you watched, that'd be interesting to look it up. So if you could tell us that someday, that would be neat.